Philadelphia spent the entire offseason staying quiet. But behind closed doors, something massive may already be changing. A new report claims Jalen Hurts is fully buying into a completely different offense under Sean Mannion. And if these changes actually work, the rest of the NFL could have a serious problem on its hands this season. But the most surprising part of this entire story might be which Eagles player suddenly looks ready to take over the offense. Last season, the Philadelphia Eagles offense went from looking explosive to painfully predictable almost overnight. National media blamed Jalen Hurts every single week. Fans heard the same criticism constantly. He can't throw over the middle, he struggles under center, defenses figured him out. But when you actually look deeper into the numbers, the story becomes a lot more complicated. Statistically, Hurts was one of the best quarterbacks in football throwing over the middle over the last several seasons. The strange part, the Eagles barely even asked him to do it last year. The same thing happened with under-center play action, even though those plays consistently produced some of the offense's biggest moments. That's why many fans started wondering if the real issue was Hurts at all, but the coaching staff limiting the offense. And the comparison became impossible to ignore. Under former coordinators like Shane Steichen, the offense felt creative and aggressive. Later versions felt restricted, conservative, and disconnected. Now, with Sean Mannion arriving, Philadelphia may finally be trying to unlock the version of Hurts fans have been waiting to see again. And what Mannion is reportedly installing behind the scenes could completely change how defenses attack Philadelphia next season. For the first time in years, the Philadelphia Eagles might finally be building an offense designed to make life easier for Jalen Hurts instead of harder. Reports say new offensive coordinator Sean Mannion is installing a system with heavier play action, more under-center formations, and faster reads, and honestly, that could completely change this team. Because when the Eagles actually used under-center play action last season, it worked almost every time. Defenses froze, running lanes opened up, Hurts looked more comfortable, and the passing game suddenly became explosive again. The weird part was Philadelphia barely used it afterward, even when the offense clearly struggled for consistency. Now imagine pairing that style with a healthy offensive line, Saquon Barkley attacking lighter boxes, and receivers finally getting easier separation downfield. That's a nightmare for opposing defenses. Some fans even believe the Eagles are quietly rebuilding Hurts' confidence after last season's criticism and media pressure. And if Mannion successfully combines Hurts' mobility with a more balanced passing attack, Philadelphia's offense could go from predictable to one of the most dangerous units in football almost overnight. But the biggest offseason change in Philadelphia may not involve the quarterback at all. It might involve who becomes his new favorite target. Something very interesting is happening behind the scenes with the Philadelphia Eagles receiving core, and it could completely reshape the offense in 2026. Reports say Jalen Hurts and Devonta Smith have been working out together privately throughout the offseason, trying to strengthen their connection before training camp even begins. And honestly, that's a massive development. Because for years, Smith has quietly been one of the most overlooked star receivers in football. Some games he'd dominate defenses, look unstoppable, and barely be targeted again the following week. A lot of fans believe the offense became too focused on forcing the ball to A.J. Brown, especially during stretches where frustration and sideline tension reportedly started building inside the organization. Now suddenly, analysts are calling Smith the potential new number one option in Philadelphia's passing attack. Comparisons to players like Jackson Smith-Njigba and Puka Nacua are starting to grow louder, especially if the Eagles move toward a quicker, timing-based offense under Sean Mannion. And if Smith finally gets consistent volume instead of occasional explosions, his production could absolutely skyrocket this season. But there's another receiver quietly working with Hurts right now, and his role could shock a lot of people inside Philadelphia. One of the most overlooked storylines in Philadelphia right now might actually be the battle happening behind Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown on the depth chart. Because while most fans are focused on the stars, reports say Elijah Moore has already been putting in private work with Jalen Hurts this offseason, and that could mean the coaching staff views him as a much bigger piece of the offense than people realize. At first, many expected names like Hollywood Brown or younger receivers to lock down those extra snaps automatically. But Moore showing up alongside Hurts and Smith in off-season workouts feels intentional. Chemistry matters, especially in a completely new offensive system. And with Sean Mannion potentially bringing a more spread-out Packers-style passing attack, suddenly there may be real opportunities for 4 or even 5 pass catchers to make an impact every week. That's a huge shift from last season, where the offense often felt painfully concentrated around only a couple players. Some insiders even believe Moore could become one of the sneakiest breakout weapons on the roster if his role expands early. And then an unexpected NFL schedule leak suddenly gave Philadelphia another massive advantage nobody saw coming. Just when things already seemed to be trending upward for the Philadelphia Eagles, an unexpected NFL schedule leak may have quietly handed Philadelphia another major advantage heading into 2026. Over the weekend, reports surfaced that the Jacksonville Jaguars and Houston Texans are expected to play in London during Week 6. At first glance, that may not sound important to Eagles fans, but it dramatically lowered Philadelphia's chances of being forced into an overseas game themselves. And in today's NFL, international travel matters a lot more than people think. Long flights, disrupted routines, shorter recovery time, and awkward scheduling have affected contenders before. Avoiding that situation could become a sneaky advantage for an Eagles team already projected to have one of the easier schedules in football this season. Now combine that with a healthier roster, a potentially upgraded offense under Sean Mannion, an elite offensive line, and a defense many analysts still rank inside the league's top tier. Suddenly, the national narrative around Philadelphia starts looking very different. A lot of media outlets are still focused on last season's struggles, but internally, the Eagles seem to believe this roster is much closer to another Super Bowl run than people realize. But while fans were busy debating the schedule, something emotional happened off the field that completely stole the weekend in Philadelphia. While most fans spent the weekend debating offensive changes and schedule leaks, something happened off the field that reminded people why the Philadelphia Eagles organization feels different from a lot of teams around the league. The Eagles Autism Foundation hosted its annual fundraising event, and the turnout ended up being absolutely massive. Thousands of participants showed up, millions of dollars were raised, and the event reportedly shattered previous records once again. But what really caught attention wasn't just the numbers. It was the atmosphere around the entire weekend. Fans, players, families, and staff all came together in a way that felt bigger than football itself. One moment especially started spreading online after an Eagles fan proposed to his girlfriend during the event, creating one of the most emotional scenes of the weekend. And moments like that matter more than people realize. Because after a season filled with criticism, offensive frustration, and non-stop media noise surrounding Jalen Hurts, this event quietly showed something important. The culture inside Philadelphia still feels incredibly strong. Owner Jeffrey Lurie continues heavily investing in the foundation, and many fans believe that support has helped build one of the closest locker room environments in the NFL. And now, with expectations rising again, everything may come down to whether Hurts and Sean Mannion can truly change this offense together. At the end of the day, the entire 2026 season for the Philadelphia Eagles may come down to one thing: the partnership between Jalen Hurts and Sean Mannion. If this new offense finally unlocks Hurts as a passer while keeping the run game dangerous, Philadelphia has all the pieces to become a true Super Bowl contender again. The roster is loaded, the defense is elite, and the schedule looks favorable. But if the offense struggles the same way it did last season, the criticism surrounding Hurts will only grow louder. Either way, the pressure in Philadelphia has never been higher.